Are we at the doorsteps of another pandemic after COVID-19?
China has been battling an outbreak of human metapneumovirus.
Is this virus serious? Should we panic? What can we do to safeguard ourselves and the people around us? All this and more in this video. Please watch this video till the end. Let me start the video by debunking the news being reported by the Indian media that this is a new virus. No, it's not a new virus. This virus was discovered in the year 2001 in Netherlands by Bernadette G. van den Hoogen and her colleagues when they were analyzing the respiratory secretions from 28 hospitalized kids. And they did so by using randomly primed PCR. Now, why did they use a randomly primed PCR? The reason behind this was, at that point of time, the immunological techniques which were available to detect the known viruses, they failed to discover any new virus in all these samples. And also, the PCR techniques available at that point of time to detect the known respiratory viruses, they also failed to detect any virus. So, randomly primed PCR was done and then this agent was discovered. The randomly primed PCR showed a clear relationship between this novel, that is new virus which was discovered at that point of time, with the avian metapneumovirus. Because of the close relationship of this novel virus with the avian metapneumovirus, this new virus was named as the human metapneumovirus to reflect the identity of this virus as a metapneumovirus, and also to convey the fact that the host of this virus are human beings. So that's about the discovery and the nomenclature of this virus. Now that we know that it's not a new or a novel virus, we should know where it is found. This is a ubiquitous virus being found worldwide, and infections are pretty common in childhood, with almost every other child getting infected by his or her 5th birthday with this virus. Despite the near universal infections in early life, reinfections are pretty common in older kids and adults. This is a respiratory virus, and humans get infected by inhalation of the respiratory droplets being discharged when an infected person coughs or sneezes. The other ways of getting infected with this virus are close contact with the infected individuals, like shaking hands, and also coming in contact with the fomites, that is the non-living objects carrying this virus, and then touching the mucous membranes like that of the eyes, nose or mouth. Once infection has occurred, this virus can lead to various outcomes in the infected people. For instance, some people may be totally asymptomatic because the antibodies which are produced as a result of the immune response completely clear the virus, so there are going to be no signs and symptoms at all. That's one outcome. In many people, it can lead to a common cold-like illness wherein the infected people are going to have fever, sore throat, running nose, cough and body aches. So in many people, it is going to lead to an upper respiratory tract illness which is indistinguishable from flu. Studies have indicated that human metapneumovirus is responsible for 15% of common colds in kids, especially those which are complicated by otitis media. However, there are certain people who can develop serious disease where low respiratory tract can also be involved, leading to pneumonia or bronchiolitis. We should know who are these high-risk groups. These include extremes of age, for instance, premature infants and people more than 65 years of age. Then the immunocompromised people are also more prone or vulnerable to develop serious disease. Also, human metapneumovirus is associated with severe disease in asthmatics and those who have COPD. Let's learn about the structure of this virus. This is a respiratory virus belonging to the family Paramyxoviridae and the subfamily Pneumoviridae. It's an RNA virus, it is enveloped and it has got single-stranded negative sense non-segmented RNA as its genome. As you can see on the screens, this virus is an enveloped virus. It is decorated with different kinds of peplomers. Amongst the different peplomers, G protein is pretty important because it is the G protein, that is the glycoprotein, which is going to attach to the host cell receptors. Now, what exactly does this virus attach to? The G protein attaches to heparin sulfate and other glycosaminoglycans present in the airways. The F protein or the fusion protein is going to mediate the fusion of the virus with the host cell membrane, and the outcome or the end result of the viral infection is going to be the production of an amalgamation of cytokines and chemokines by our immune system. For instance, interleukin 6, interleukin 2, interferons, tumor necrosis factor alpha, and macrophage inflammatory protein. All of these are going to induce a peribronchiolar and perivascular inflammatory infiltrate. A sound knowledge of the structure of the virus is very, very important, because unless and until we know about the viral structure, what is the viral protein which attaches to the host cell receptors, we won't be really able to devise any good vaccine. And also, it's very important to know which virus is enveloped, which is not, because enveloped viruses are pretty easy to be inactivated. More on that when I talk about the preventive aspects towards the end of the video. The incubation period in general is said to be 3 to 6 days. And now that we know what all symptoms this virus can cause, let's also learn about the lab diagnosis of this viral infection. Now, this is an RNA virus, and the gold standard is said to be RT-PCR, that is reverse transcriptase PCR, of the respiratory secretions. Other methods to make a diagnosis include detection of the viral antigen in the nasopharyngeal secretions by means of direct fluorescent antibody test. We can also go for detection of antibodies in the serum sample of the infected people by virtue of indirect immunofluorescence test. And also we can do bronchoscopy or chest x-ray to look for changes in the lungs. This virus is pretty tough to cultivate or culture, and anyways, culture or cultivation is generally not used in the routine diagnostic virology. Also remember, this virus has got two genotypes, A and B, and they have been categorized into different lineages, like for instance A1, A2, B1 and V2. Now coming to the news about the escalation of the number of cases with this virus in certain areas. Like many other respiratory viruses, for instance influenza virus, respiratory syncytial virus and adenovirus, human metapneumovirus also is most active during late winter and early spring. Certain experts believe that all these viruses survive better at colder temperatures, and during cold, that is winters, people tend to stay indoors, and therefore these viruses spread easily from one person to another. In northern China, the current spike of cases with human metapneumovirus coincides with the low temperature there, which is expected to last till March end. In fact, many countries in the northern hemisphere, not limited to China, are experiencing an increased number of cases of human metapneumovirus. This increased number of cases is likely to be the normal seasonal increase in the number of cases as encountered in winters. In fact, data from several other countries, like for instance the US and the UK, have been experiencing a spike in the human metapneumovirus cases since last October. Therefore, the news which is being spread by certain sources that it could be the beginning of another pandemic like COVID-19 is not really true, because this is not a novel virus. It has been there in existence since decades, and we do have certain degree of immunity against this virus. What about the treatment aspects? Rest is important, hydration is important. Acetaminophen or ibuprofen can be given to manage fever and body aches. There is no specific antiviral. Supplemental oxygen or mechanical ventilation may be needed in people with serious disease. What about the preventive measures? This is an enveloped virus, and the envelope is nothing but a phospholipid bilayer membrane. This phospholipid bilayer envelope can be easily disrupted by using an alcohol-based sanitizer or the simple act of washing the hands with soap and water. Secondly, it's a respiratory virus, so do use masks which were in vogue during the time of COVID-19 also, and make it a point to disinfect the surfaces around, because this virus can survive on non-living objects, that is fomites, for certain periods of time. So it's very, very important to keep your surroundings clean also. So in a nutshell, remember, stay clean and keep your surroundings clean as well. As far as vaccination is concerned, there is no vaccine available yet for the human metapneumovirus, although Moderna has conducted a trial for a candidate RNA vaccine against this virus, and it already has passed the phase 1 clinical trials. So that's about human metapneumovirus. Please let me know in the comment section how you like this video. Please spread awareness about this virus by sharing this video with your friends, family members. And if you like my work, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Smash the bell icon for notification for my future videos. Thank you.